節の中で交わした約束を信じていたい SF な月明かり次元を超えた何かが二人を引き寄せてゆく広がる世界へと
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Retrocast. It's the anime podcast. It's episode 72, reviewing El Hazard The Wanderers. Boy, is that an anime, I guess. I'm your host JD, joined with Tori and Hickey. You guys are back.
Yes.
I am back.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Yeah, we had our little pre-recording due to, so I had a bunch of plans in the month of March. Perhaps you've heard of something that has happened worldwide.
No, not
all those.
What has happened? I don't know.
Yes. I don't know. We just stay inside all day anyways. I mean,
nothing's changed for me.
But yeah, so we planned ahead for all of my plans because my mom was coming one weekend, my dad was coming up another weekend, and so we planned all of these episodes ahead. Hey, we're gonna record ahead, and then one after another. We didn't have to do that. So here we are 3 weeks later recording El Hazard, but I'll be honest guys, I needed all 3 of those weeks to watch this fucking show.
I waited until the last possible moment, and even still.
Even still, I'm like, Tori, you don't have to finish it. Don't force yourself.
The
and then
moment,
you go,
the
23 out of 26. That. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. The moment you said that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finish it. I'm just gonna watch the final episode. You don't have to do that. All right, okay, you said it. I don't have to do it. Dropped. You don't have to convince me.
Job's done. Thank you.
Pull my arm, will ya? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it on a steady pace, but my plans was.
Well, I was on a pace for 1 or 2 a day, and then I realized there's more than 21 episodes.
Yeah. My plan was also
to
watch the original OVAs, but I couldn't bring myself to watch them.
So spoiler, as you can tell, we're probably gonna give this one a rave review. Great.
A rave review.
Yep, great. Great show.
You know, to my surprise, this was not about Hazard from Chelsea. You know, very, very, very sad.
Real Madrid now, but yes. Yeah, no, that was weird.
When did he get traded?
A while ago.
Oh, shit. I'm out of the loop on that one.
Before the season started. And before
really?
it was cancelled, yeah.
Before that was cancelled.
I thought it was winter transfer window or something.
Nope.
Well, see, if there was a documentary or a show about him, I would have seen that.
I guess.
I would have been, I've just been, the football season hasn't interested me this year because Hanover's in the relegation division, so sad times.
I mean, it didn't also interested me, but mostly because it was fucking cancelled.
Well, wasn't it going to be Liverpool's first division title in 40 years?
Something like that.
And the season gets cancelled.
It's not been cancelled yet. It's most likely it's gonna get played. I highly doubt that it's ever gonna get cancelled. The thing they're aiming for is they might actually have to start up that they will start the end of the season around winter time next year if they have to, but I don't think they'll cancel the season. So they're gonna win the title anyways, which is fine. The problem is just they can't really cancel the season because that's gonna be nobody is mathematically relegated yet. And if they just cancel the season, well, the bottom 3 are gonna get relegated.
I mean, there are worse things that could happen to a franchise.
No, not really. Not right now. Because that's a lot of money they're gonna lose.
Come on, Tori. Don't talk crazy. The economy's fine.
Yeah, real fine. Fantastic.
Real fine.
Never been better.
Never been better. I mean, we're at a low of 10 million people unemployed in the country I'm living in currently.
We're doing so well. It's not even as bad as the 2008 fucking global economic crisis yet.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So that's our usual everyone. I did get my bowling winnings. The season was, of course, preemptively canceled, so they announced how much I won. I was like, ah. Oh, I was on a roll, too. It was a big bummer that I wasn't able to go up the table more. You've been playing, Tori. Persona 5 Royale. How's that been treating you?
Royale has been treating me really well. I haven't played it for the last couple of days, but it's Persona 5 again, but like way better.
How so?
Well, there's a lot of added content. They fixed a lot of stuff. Like, dungeons now, there's more exploring in dungeons. There are extra content to get. Like these, what do they call it? I would have called them grief seeds, but that's from Madoka. That's not what they are. Was it like
I understand
soul
what you're
seeds
saying,
or whatever the fuck? But it's like this. It's kind of similar to like the whole distorted desires things, and they're like hidden away in certain rooms. Like they're not super hard to find, but you'll have to go around and explore a little bit as well. You know, it gave a use for the new grappling hook thing that they have given you Joker, so you get to use that a lot.
So the dungeons are a little bit less linear now. Kinda.
Well, not really. They're still the same dungeons, right? It's just
okay.
There are certain offshoots now that like leads you down a path, and all of a sudden you're down in the basement, and then fucking you end up running into like the fucking half-chob monster, and you have to defeat that guy. It's like super. There's more stronger enemies now. They've updated a lot of like the combat mechanics. They changed like how guns work. Now ammo is refilled between every battle instead of you having to conserve ammo for the entire trip you're inside of the dungeon or in the castle. And
I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that.
Yeah, because it actually makes guns viable this time around, unlike in the first one. They changed stuff like the sneak mechanic now has been improved a lot, because the worst thing was like when you would like go to hide and like try to, whether it's to get the drop on somebody or to sneak past them, it's like kind of wiggling your camera around trying to lock onto the right target in the first Persona 5 was a little bit annoying. But now you have like manual select. You can like select between like do you want to go from cover to cover, or do you want to like attack the enemy? Then you can press like up on like the buttons, like the button up, and then it'll change from cover to the enemy. And you can also select other things, like you can lock onto chests now and other stuff like that, so you can go directly from cover to a chest and open it and stuff like that. So there's basically just there's like all around improvements to the game, and it's better. New, like I said, new enemies, stronger enemies, different types of enemies. Like there's a new enemy that just when you attack it, it doesn't attack. Well, it doesn't attack at all. But when you attack it, it attacks you back with that same attack, and it deals damage to you. But the way to defeat it is you have to hit its weakness and then, try to kill it in one shot. You can't kill it in multiple shots, but you're going to take more damage from that. Or you can just leave it alone if you also want to do that. But you want to try to kill it because, like, if you kill it, it'll explode and it'll drop an item for you, as well as damage all other surrounding shadows. So there's a lot of, like, neat little additions to the game, as well as a trophy room has been added, and a bunch of stuff like that. So it's Persona 5, but better. That's really all I can say.
Yeah, I ask because I haven't gotten around to playing it a little bit yet. I've been playing a certain other game that came out, but I need to do it for the podcast, so that gives me a better idea of what I'm looking for, because I only played like through the first dungeon in Persona 5 the first time. So I wonder how much different it'll be on a first impression basis. So it gives me a little bit of a better idea what I'm looking for.
I mean, you'll see what's different. Like it's not hidden. Like, so you'll see what's different, but it's like you're still gonna be playing the same game. You're still gonna be doing the same thing. It's still about you going through the castle and finding the treasure, and then afterwards sending the calling card, and then going in to fight the final boss and like stuff like that. Like that, none of that shit. The story isn't different. There are new characters, and there are slight, not alterations, but they've added in some extra scenes. They have added in some new stuff with the social links, where it's like now after you've gone out and talked to a social link, they will call you at the end, so you get the chance for like extra points. They've added some new activities in the overworld as well, so that you can do as well to increase your own social stats and kind of simultaneously increase points with like potential social links and whatnot if you need that. So there's again, it's an optimized game. It's as people like to put it, it's the definitive edition. This is the full game. This is the real game.
Fair enough. Well, so Final Fantasy VII came out Thursday, and this was interesting. So everything's closed where I am.
Mm-hmm.
They even closed liquor stores for a grand total of 3 days.
Bars never closed.
It didn't last
here.
long.
The governor said, "Please,
Bars
everyone,
never closed in Brazil.
just close everything." And I was like, I don't think it's necessary, honestly, but it's reasonable. Goes outside, only bars are open. I bought like a bunch of beer every single day.
But yeah, so everything kind of reopened on Thursday. Because I was like, man, I pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII from GameStop a while ago. It's totally closed now. They got kind of caught with their staying open as an essential business thing, which was very funny. And then, so I'm like, man, are they doing curbside pickup? Because there are still some states that are doing it. Like Best Buy got closed in Rhode Island. And then Walmart has like siphoned off big parts of the store, so you can only shop in, the essential areas. So I'm just like calling all these stores, and then sure enough, day Final Fantasy VII comes out. I'm like, I'm going to call a GameStop. Guy picks up. I'm like, are you guys open? Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah. I'm like, are you doing the curbside pickup? Yeah. Okay, how does this work? Because I only paid like half for Final Fantasy VII. Oh, you just give me your give me the card, and I at the door and go in. I'm like, this is a weird like to go transaction.
Apparently, JD never bought drugs. That's good.
I've never bought drugs with a credit card.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
that's probably not very smart, to be honest. But yeah, no, I like.
Hey, drug dealer, here's my card. Do you want to write down the numbers too?
Do you take credit cards from this transaction? Because I don't have cash on me. No, but like the funny thing, like with Final Fantasy VII, right? Because of this whole pandemic thing that's going on right now, that some people call it. I don't know. I haven't noticed anything. I've just been staying inside. Yeah, no, the funny thing here was, like, when Final Fantasy VII, well, not when it dropped, there were reports there because some of the stores here, they were releasing Final Fantasy VII, like, a week early.
Yeah, Australia was, yeah.
Yeah. No, here as well, right? Because everybody's staying at home, so it's like, fuck it, just give them the game. Give them the game and keep them inside. I love that.
I don't know how it's going here.
So after work, I not only did the liquor stores open, but GameStop opened up the day Final Fantasy VII came out. So I'm like, beer and FF7 all weekend. Oh, this is gonna be great. I had plans to watch anime.
Yeah,
because I went with the full intention I'm not getting this game for like another 3 weeks minimum.
And then you pre-ordered it. Wow.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Oh yeah. Well, I played the demo and it convinced me. I have to talk about this section. So, everything up to this point of the game was outstanding. It feels like a new game. It's like Resident Evil 2 Remake all over again. Like, it doesn't feel like the same game anymore. You know the story, but everything else is so different. Gameplay, how the characters come across, everything. The difference between 20 plus years, right? And then I get to the Aerith section. You guys are familiar with who Aerith is, right?
Nope, never played Final Fantasy VII.
I've played Final Fantasy VII, but it's been so long.
Okay, so she's this like spirit girl that comes into play. She's it's the waifu battle. It's Tifa or this chick, right? Chick with the bow. And the section in the original game was simply Cloud falls through a church, meets her, you have a cool fight. You run away, and within, like, I want to say 10 minutes of quirky dialogue, and you get to her house. There's a little bit of extra quirky dialogue that's maybe 5-10 more minutes. So you're looking at, let's say, 20 minutes tops between Cloud falling through the church to him leaving the house and getting to the next section of the game, right? 30, 40 if you fuck around, okay? Or you lose the fight. This section there was so much needless content added. I was losing my goddamn mind. It was so boring. the fight with Reno was cool. I like that. It was everything after the fight that was just so shoehorned in. Of I have to then meet the orphans of the orphanage she lives behind. I have to help them out with their little problems. I just played Yakuza 3, where the whole game is based around helping these orphan children out, right? And now I'm doing it in Final Fantasy 7. And so it's just do all these missions for the orphan children, and I've tried skipping, and I'm like, maybe there's... I don't know why I was thinking this. Maybe there's some purpose to this all. No, there isn't.
No, so it's Final Fantasy.
But all the, like... There's a good 45 minutes of walking from the church to the orphanage and her house. It just kept going on and on. I'm like, what is going on here?
No fast travel?
And then, well, there's no need for fast travel.
Well, I mean...
Because it's just it's a more linear experience.
Apparently there is. 45 minutes just walking from a place to another.
Well,
like,
this
was like the first time you're doing the walk?
Yeah, the first time you're doing the walk.
45 minutes?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. Why? And then when you say goodbye to her, it's pretty much you go to this park. They split ways in the original game, right? And then that goes into the strip club city, right? In this one, in the remake, they proceeded to have this really long 30-40 minute walking section again with 3 of the same puzzles involving these robot arms. And I was just losing my mind. I was like, 1, okay, that was stupid. Don't want to do that again. A second time, oh. Alright, you're testing my patience, game. And then it happens a third time, and it was like, you missed out on some materia. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I hate this. I don't want to play this robot thing again. It just goes on and on and on. So this Aerith section took well over 2 hours to play, while the original one, I swear, it only took like 45 minutes. Ridiculous.
I mean, they're splitting the game up into multiple parts, so they have to, they have to justify it, so it needs to be a full game. Therefore, everything needs to be stretched.
Yeah, I believe this is the halfway point I'm at in the game, and this was the first section where I really felt this was stretched out for no good goddamn reason, other than to add time, right?
So that they can charge full price for it, because it needs to be a full game for it to charge full price.
Well, I'm already 15 hours in the game. That feels like a full game to me.
No, 30 hours.
Yeah,
I know, it's 30 to 40 hours, depending.
For JRPG, no. No, it's not.
Well, it's multiple parts.
I know, but...
I've played RPGs
like
that
a full JRPG
less than 30
game.
hours.
If they want to sell a full...
Yeah, but JRPG games are generally pretty fucking long, but that's a whole different story. But even still, most JRPG games are literally just... They're padded out with fucking unnecessary, not even just unnecessary, but like boring stuff. Like fucking, I can never get into the Atelier game because god fucking damn it, I hate fetch quests. So why the fuck is there a game about fetch quests?
I like the Atelier.
They did
games, but I understand.
They did add a very Final Fantasy VII Remake did add a very, very nice simple mechanic where if you do a side mission, you go do the side mission, and as soon as you complete it, it goes, go back to the person who gave you that mission, just warp to him. Hell yes. Oh my god, I wish every fucking game would do that. It actually encourages me to want to do side missions then, because I don't feel like I'm wasting my time just running back, right? And then I can't find them, or I get lost, or whatever.
It depends.
Yeah. I wish a lot more games would just give you the option, because you could say no. That's all well and good.
Sure.
But, yeah, this Aerith section like really tested my patience. I was losing it. So, but it's very grandiose. I'm vastly enjoying the overall experience. It does feel like a full game. It's so different. They're because the whole game's taking place in Midgard. They've done a few things that keeps you. It's the story that's later, and it's almost like in flashbacks and flash forwards in Cloud's head that he's losing it. That tells you more aspects of the story, and they're telling some more personal things that you learn later, and they're just getting them out of the way now. Which I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I'm liking it. It's very much worth it to me. But that Aerith section, that's a big thumbs down.
Yeah, I don't. I'm still not sure. Like, I played the demo. The demo was fun. I enjoyed that a lot, but I don't know. Something about 3 games at full price.
Well, we don't know it's 3 games. We don't know it's 2 games.
They say multiple parts, and everywhere I see they keep saying 3 games. But yeah, right, sure. But multiple parts. Anyways.
I have not read anything from Square that has said 3 games.
Yeah, but either way,
says more than
Jokes on you, it's gonna be like 4.
Multiple parts, and just multiple parts at full price, and I don't know. I'll have to wait and see when it's all over and done with. Maybe then I'll be interested, because so far I've only played one Final Fantasy game, and that is Final Fantasy X, and 10 and 10-2, and I did not like those games. Not at all. So, yeah. Like, one of the things I like the, one of the things that drew me to Final Fantasy VII Remake is the new combat system, because I like that. I like that more hands-on approach. I like that more, like, action-heavy approach to it. I understand, obviously, that people are very into the whole, like, turn-based combat system. And turn-based can be fun, but there's just something more satisfying for me to just being able to, like, select abilities on the fly, and at the same time just go in and fucking kick the shit out of everything.
Oh, it's really fun. The combat's very fluid. I have had no issue with it at all. It feels like a modern take on a turn-based, if that makes sense. Because Final Fantasy 15 was all action. Didn't really feel like you were in control of multiple characters.
Didn't it have, like, auto battle, pretty much?
Right, yeah. This one, they took that idea and refined it into... so, you'll have your warm-up time for attacks, like a turn-based would. And when that happens, you just gotta be paying attention in real time with the battle. And just press R2 or L2, and that'll switch to a character so that you can get them to do an attack. Or you can press L1 and R1 with the D-pad to become that other character. Yeah, my one and only gripe in that is you can't, as you're traversing the world, you have to be Cloud. So at the end of every battle, you're Cloud again. Not the biggest deal in the world, but I would like to traverse this world as Tifa.
This dude.
Or even Big Bad Barrett with the giant gun just scaring people.
This dude.
Yeah.
I bet you want to also use the alternate costumes as you do that.
So, Hickey.
Yes.
I gotta ask. You have been in Discord for the past, I don't know, days.
No, it wasn't.
Talking with Tori about this.
Okay. I
about
think
this
Tori
ASMR thing.
Tori started that, so...
I did. Fuck you. You started this way before me.
I started myself with myself. You started yourself and then talked to me. Or just said, God damn it. And I was like, oh yeah, you fell into the rabbit hole. So it's my time. The time of being pop teen started now. So go on, JD. It was just a detail. It was Tori that started it.
Okay, so what the fuck is this big tittied ASMR thing you guys have been watching?
Hickey's the only one who watches the ASMR shit.
I don't watch the ASMR. Well, I mean, I watch once a day, but that is
one today. You wanted to watch one yesterday. You fucking motherfucker.
One yesterday?
I only watch one a day.
One yesterday? No, I haven't watched anything yesterday. ASMR related.
Lies.
So what is it?
Nothing.
Nothing
much.
Myself.
It's the next form of it for YouTubers. Kind of the industry in the past couple of years, since the appearance of the first one on YouTube, which was Kizunai, advanced a little bit. Nowadays it's very live stream based, and you have big hitters now, very big companies that surfaced among the foul of others. One of them is apparently one that Tori really likes. and I like as well. I pretty much enjoy. There's a lot of recordings where it's sad. I really like idols. One of them has that idea behind it. It's mostly live stream related, live stream based. They try to interact with everyone. Doesn't matter if you're paying or not paying. They read all the comments. They read names. They try to interact in English, even though they are very shitty in it, and they are extremely weird.
Oh my god.
They are.
Unless you're Coco and you're American, then you know.
Unless you're Coco and you're American, or you're an American-based VTuber as well. The Indonesian girls also speak English. They are the it's a very interesting collective of very weird people doing very weird stuff, while they should be acting like idols. So it's very fun. There's one for everyone. Tori basically started watching some translated clips and fell for it, which is really bad. I watch them mostly to have some native Japanese interactions, since there's no Japanese community near me and I need to get used to listening to the actual language, not the anime language. So I started watching it way back, like 2018. They grew a lot. They do shows now. They sell music. They are everywhere. Even in this new season, this new spring season, the second season of a soap opera is with one of those girls, like many VTubers, is starting now. It's not that VTuber anime that happened. It is an actual soap opera where they made special 3D animators, like 3D models, and have a soap opera. It's going on, I think it's TV Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. So it's growing, and nowadays since Tori started watching it, and it's very fun, we started discussing it. But that's about it. Yeah, now we're trying to get JD to watch.
No, Hickey's trying to get JD
retro
to watch.
gaming. There's a retro gaming one. She's very fun. So try to get JD to watch her playing some Nintendo 64 or Sega Saturn games.
Long story short, it's a bunch of weird, like 3D, well, 2.5D, sometimes 3D, depending on what they do. But like girls who are just kind of, they're doing live streaming. They're playing video games. Sometimes they're talking to chat. Sometimes they're doing ASMR, which Hickey's into. And
I'm not
sometimes
into.
they
Stop.
are they're singing.
Stop it. Look, I already have a lot of weird things on my name. I don't need ASMR to be one of them.
Well, too bad.
What is the name of this retro girl?
Korone. I think she's probably streaming right now.
Korone.
She's probably live right now because she doesn't sleep. She sleeps like 2 hours a day.
That's not good. When I put it in Google, it goes to the coronavirus spelled with a K.
Yeah, she was actually getting banned by YouTube every time she started a live when the corona thing started.
Oh, really?
Because of her name. Yes.
Oh, poor girl. But yeah, no, like it's just a bunch of fun entertainment. Like imagine just like, you know, they're considering the fact that they're all acting pretty much the entire time, right? So it's like you get that like weird like idol experience, but like they're not your typical idols. They're kind of not even kind of. They're very weird.
That's
they
for
are
whole
very
life.
strange individuals.
I think
they
that's,
act.
Yeah, that's
they,
we need
they
we
don't
need
act
to
like
we need
normal
to that
people.
we need the observation. Sorry, Tori, that this is for the one of the companies called Hololive, which goes for the idol thing. The other ones,
Sure.
18 followers.
not so much.
But even still, they still kind of have that same kind of actor about them. At least the ones I've seen so far, they still kind of act in the same vein, and it's just, it's so weird. It's like you can find compilations of just everything from dirty jokes to the weirdest shit to a psychotic idol who was also just strangely good at Tetris. And when I say strangely good, I mean like really fucking good. To fucking American big boob dragon who's American but speaks Japanese but kind of switches in between sometimes, and she does everything from fucking morning news to singing streams sometimes, to fucking video games, and just
Yeah,
streams
it's
multiple times a day.
it's usually go like that. When it started, I think I talked to you before you started, and I was like, well, it's very interesting to the idol point of view, where you get basically every day a special experience, a very close experience to a entertainer. In the veins of idol, it's a little bit more than that. You get quote unquote public live concerts from time to time, interactions.
It's very degenerate.
Look, depends on the crow, honestly. Like Gibara,
It's very degenerate.
It's very interesting. It's fun. It is fun.
Look at
Unless
this guy trying to justify it.
Unless it's very traumatic, because it happens. Like some cooking streams and some cocaine.
I still can't get over that. Coco literally made heated olive oil when she tried to make what was it? Omurice, yeah, omelet and rice.
Oh boy.
So that's good. Good experience.
It is entertaining.
Not at all edible, but you know what? That's okay.
It is highly entertaining. Definitely gonna pop now more because of the ambitions of those companies. They kind of got something good going. So it's a very interesting thing. Don't start watching the translations or you're gonna get hooked. And it's very bad. It's very bad because there's a lot of it. There's many of it. There's big companies behind some of those. And you might not be able to get out. Or you do just like Tori. Get 3 that you like. And you probably watch every day. He's probably doing it right now because Coco is live streaming. But
she is live streaming again?
I think is. She restarted this stream.
Oh no.
Is the name of this Coco?
Coco.
Just
C-O-C-O. It's like Kiryu Coco. So K-I.
Because she likes Yakuza, so she got the Kiryu name.
Yep. Kiryu. She's playing
like
Yakuza.
Kiryu from Yakuza?
Yeah, she's playing Yakuza 7 right now as well. And goddamn it, she gets so excited by everything that happens. It's so fun.
Wait, I see Kiryu Gaming.
No, it's like Kiryu Coco. It's like Coco Channel or Coco CH. Something. I can't read Japanese.
Well,
if we get JD on board, we can start a VTuber.
Coco Cheryl or Channel?
Channel. Jesus Christ.
CH.
JD. I'll make it easy for you. Here you go. Here's the link.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy, and he wants to talk about me. He has the fucking
on
link.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm
yes,
looking
on
Twitch.
YouTube.
No, yeah, it's on YouTube.
No,
it's usually YouTube based.
There are Twitch virtual YouTubers as well. Virtual Twitchers, I guess.
Yeah.
But
287,000 subscribers. Oh my God.
she's got up 7K subscribers just today.
Yeah, she's going.
All right.
She's going places.
Let's check. Okay, live reaction. Here we go.
Oh,
check
no.
this out.
You
yeah.
say fuck all.
Gotta do it.
She's playing
Gotta do it.
a horror game. You should watch Corona.
Oh, she started up Sweet 776 again.
Yes, I just told you. That's okay. Well, it's
just
very
ended it.
interesting. Usually those girls, like the people behind them, you're not supposed to talk about them.
Yeah,
Regardless,
they're not interesting.
they usually
Kiryu
either
Coco
like
is the Twitter handle.
Yep.
they have usually some followers on
Of course, I've played this hard game.
Nico Doga, other services. A lot of them like wanted to be idols, performances, entertainers,
All right, enough of that.
voice actresses, but they failed, so they end up here. That's why they are weird people and they are fun people. It's highly entertaining.
I'll put that out on Twitter later.
Oh my god!
Okay, so we gotta move on.
Yeah.
So IGN of all people, yeah, that video game review site that every game is good until it's not.
Every game is good
came
until
out
you
with
don't like
a
it.
streaming service, right? The only one that gave Final Fantasy VII below a 9 out of 10. By the way, put that out there. They came out with a retro anime streaming service called Retro Crush, like the day after we recorded City Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And check this out. It's on Fire Stick, Google Play, iTunes, iTunes, or Apple apps or whatever it's fucking called these days.
Yes, it's app-based, yes.
Yeah, it's not on your computer unless you get an app from like the Windows Store. I haven't tested that out because I just watched it on my Fire tablet. It's not a bad service by any means. It's totally free. The commercials aren't like what Crunchyroll was a couple of years ago, where you'd see 4 of the same commercial in a row for 5 minutes.
Years ago?
It's just a quick commercial halfway, and then you're done, right? So it's very manageable as a free service. It has a lot of anime we've covered on this podcast, from Bubblegum Crisis to Demon Lord Dante. There's a lot of Card Captor Sakura on there, but not the TV show. It's all the movies and stuff that aren't available anywhere else. Just a host of many, many shows. Wicked City, a lot of 80s stuff. It's pretty cool. I hope, from the way it looks, I hope they add a lot more to it. Now, what they consider retro is like 10 years or older, because there was quite a few anime I noticed in there that were from like 2012.
Well, yeah, it's easier to get, I believe. You know, it's
a lot of licenses that I guess aren't with Crunchyroll basically, or High Dive.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all on there.
They can do the kind of what other countries did. Instead of like going to Japan and getting the license, you would probably license from someone in the US, so they can. It's easier to get those more modern shows because they are still being printed. So I believe it would be easier for them to just seek the US licensor and pay them to get it on the streaming. That is
maybe
not the case with some other shows. With the other shows, it's probably very hard to get someone in the US who still holds a license. So you need to go to Japan and talk with the big dogs. Kadokawa, which is still going,
right.
Bandai, Toei Holdings, they still have those licenses. They still have the original material. You need to talk to them, and I think it's probably very difficult. So, having 10 years, it's reasonable in this case.
Yeah, and because they don't garner a lot of market anymore because of their, age, maybe companies are more willing to just go, yeah, put it on your service, whatever.
Maybe. I
believe I saw Giant Gorgon there, which is an anime we're coming up to watch here for the podcast, of all things.
Sadly, it's US only, but it is what it is. The thing that's kind of interesting though,
I wonder, there's free ones out there.
I wonder, I wonder why, or I wonder how long Retrocast has been around, because the Retrocast YouTube channel, which is linked to this one, has been around for a long time. So I'm going to assume that they didn't just randomly show up one day.
No, this has clearly been something in the works for quite some time.
But it's just the only logical thing, because they had a bunch of stuff as well available just right from the get-go. I just have a feeling like this thing must have been like going on. They must have tested this somewhere before, because it's not like it doesn't just show up on there and be like, hey, look at our fucking catalog. We have a bunch of stuff here. That doesn't happen.
Well, I will say my big one negative on it is finding the anime and how you navigate, which is a big negative. It's a huge thing. That is a no bueno.
Have they adopted the illegal streaming sites thing where they do it? It's just like you can only click on anime and then you'll get like A, B, C downwards with anime, but you can't search for anything and you can't click on letters or anything like that. Just you have to scroll through.
Actually, it's just everything in kind of this loose genre. And you just gotta go through the genres. It's not good.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because it's a free app.
No, please.
Yeah.
even
There's a search function, but that
bad.
Hardly does any good when you don't know what you're looking for.
That is bad.
Well, know what you're looking for then. God.
Yeah, right? Because I'm like, I wonder what anime are on this. And I'm looking for some sort of function to just search through all of them. and it just doesn't exist there. So that's something they need to work on. UI is kind of still a little bit funky. I found myself... This is on the Roku app, by the way. I was mostly doing this. It kind of overlaps each other or kind of bugs out if you try to scroll too fast sometimes. I was like, that's a weird one. But yeah, I'll be... I think Retrocast will be the first place I'll look when doing shows for the podcast in the future. So that's pretty cool. Because we pretty much run out of high dive shows. I mean, they do exist still, but I don't think we'll be doing 50 episodes of, say, Votomes anytime soon.
You say that.
I say that. We're getting close. We're getting closer to how long we pre-planned.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Oh boy.
So Retro Crush, go check it out. Roku, Fire TV. It's an app. Go check it out if you're a listener to this podcast and tell us what you think. At BowlingJD, at Tori RLR, at Mightiest of Hickeys, Redleaf Retrocast, all the Twitter handles. So there you go. I'll play the drop and we can move on to your quest, Tori.
Yay.
Are you here because you're following the will of others? Or are you here on your own will?
You're up.
Alright, I'm up.
All right. Are you curious to what drop I played for you?
No, I'm really not. Anyway,
Are you sure?
So, yes.
I'm so glad you asked. It was Captain Harlock.
Okay.
You hate me so much.
So, you know the deal. It's my quest. I watch stuff from my list. I watch it in alphabetical order because, well, kind of.
Kind of.
It's all loose. It all depends. So yeah, we're now on R, which means that I'm gonna be talking about a show called Red Garden.
I'm sorry.
Red Garden.
Red Garden. Do tell.
Red Garden. Red Garden is it's an original drama mystery. 22 episodes produced by your favorite studio, JD, Studio Gonzo.
Oh no. I just discovered that Gonzo, my favorite studio, as you said, has released 7 Seeds Season 2.
Oh, yeah. You should totally watch that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, it was...
You want to hurt me?
Red Garden was directed by Ko Matsuo. And I'm not even going to look at what he's done before, because I'm not interested.
That's
not based
fine.
on this. So, the synopsis goes on like this. Strange suicides have been taking place in New York. One day, 4 girls from the same high school wake up in the morning feeling tired and dizzy, and not being able to remember anything about the previous night. In school, they find out that one of their classmates has committed suicide. School is cancelled for the rest of the day, but instead of going home, the girls are drawn to a park by butterflies. Only they can see. Suddenly, a man and a woman approach the girls, telling them that they all died the previous night. And that's the entire synopsis. So, yes, basically, these girls, they're dead, but they're alive. Because they've gotten the girl that approaches them, or the lady that approaches them in the night, she's like some sort of necromancer, and she has kind of revived them-ish. But in order to do that, they have to fight these, like, weird creatures. They're people, but they act like weird, like, monster things in the night. And they have to fight them and they have to kill them. Because if they don't, well, they will kill them. These monsters will kill them and they will then perish for good. So, yeah. I will just say immediately, I only watched 3 episodes of this show and then I dropped it because God fucking damn it, I hate this show. It has a 7.13 on Mal and I don't understand why. 2 of the first 3 episodes literally just end on all the characters singing some sort of like dramatic song for like no apparent reason. And I hate it. It doesn't make any sense. But I guess they want to be artistic. I guess. I don't know.
Well then.
It's strange. It's just such a fucking strange show. Like, they switch... they switch between perspective from all the different girls a lot, and they also mess with like the timeline. You get to see stuff like out of order. You get to see stuff before it happened, after it happened. You get like the big epiphany of like what happened. Why were they dead? Why were they originally dead and brought back? Well, because apparently they were all killed by someone. They were stabbed by a bunch of guys, and they died from that. I'm sure that gets explained, but it wasn't explained at the time that I stopped watching, because, I mean, that was episode 3, and at that point I literally just rolled my eyes in the back of my skull and said, fuck this, I have better things to do with my life. So yeah, I don't really have much to say here. It's not often that I just nope out of a show. Like, there are shows that I can't stand, but it's not often that I'm literally just sitting here like I can't justify spending this time. I could even justify spending more time with LSR than I could with this show. And I don't understand why that's a 7.3 13. I can't stress this enough. Who likes this? But yeah,
people who like singing, dramatic things.
It's not even good singing. They're not even good at singing.
No.
That's the worst part.
I mean, I think it's the first from the backlog list I haven't watched, and I don't think
don't do it.
I don't think I will. Unfortunately, the last time you dropped the show, I just watched it to see if it was bad, and it was.
Yeah, see, when I drop something, it is bad. No, but like it's one of those things. Like, it all just pairs with the whole, like, you know, the whole Japanese view of like American high school life as well, which is like juxtaposing the whole murder mystery / fighting for their life / whatever the fuck that thing they're doing at night is, and they all just, and it's just a bunch of everything that happens at night essentially boils down to a bunch of scared girls, understandably so, but a bunch of scared girls runs away from this weird ass looking guy who acts like a fucking rabid dog, and they just scream and cry and try to hide and then try to get away, and then after they eventually get so fucking scared, they find some sort of mysterious power, like I'm really strong or whatever the fuck it was. I don't even remember. It's irrelevant.
And that was only 3 episodes.
That was only 3 episodes. Yeah, no, not only fucking they end up running into these weird girls as well in the middle of the night one day. Like the necromancer chick texts them to like watch another group of like people that have also been killed, and it's like, this is what happens if you don't do what I say, and it's like, you see, there are a bunch of people who've just given up. So when this fucking dude just comes and attacks them, they just murders all of them. And when I say murder, I mean like in the nicest possible way. He kind of hits them a couple times and knocks them down, and they apparently die from that. So, you know, great.
Cool.
I slapped you across your face. You're dead now.
I mean, they were already dead inside. Literally in this case. But...
It's so, oh my god, fuck this show. I give it a 3 out of 10. It's so bad. Wow. It is. That's just after 3 episodes. I don't even want to know what the fuck happens. Like, it's one of those things, like, if you don't like this, if you can't stand for a couple of episodes, you don't even want to know what happens. I feel like I'm better off not knowing what happens. So yeah.
I could think of another show that you wish you didn't know what happened. Anyways, I guess we'll move on from there to our winter reviews. Yes, we are kind of doing it.
We are. I am doing it.
I am
Let's
too.
See. What is the drop I want to play? Sure. Dragon Ball Z. Done. Click.
Man. Sorry, I just thought about something. It escaped, but that's okay. Go, Tori, start.
Alright, so the 2020 winter anime reviews. Is it just me, guys, or is kind of the hype of seasonal anime, or at least in my realm of the woods and what I pay attention to, has a lot less hype than it has had the last few years?
Are you kidding me? Hell no.
No?
No.
Not at all?
I swear every season it's just like, dude, this is the greatest season of all time.
I don't know, like
2019 was the best year for anime ever. 2018, it's even better than 2018.
I don't know. I remember seasons where it's like you could pick out 10, 12, 15 shows that people are hyped up for, and now it's kind of down to the top 3, 5, or people tend to pick 3 to 5 now.
No. You're not on Reddit. You don't know.
I am not on Reddit. I have never been on Reddit.
No, please. Respect my boomer status.
No, I never got... I mean, my first experience with Reddit was probably in college, back in those late
Dark
2000s. Dark days. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just on Reddit. And I'm like, what is it? It's a conglomeration of this weird forum board. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. And never got into it. I've tried a couple times. Just not my thing, I guess.
At the end of this story. No, I have experience with Reddit. I was in college and said, what is that? My friend said, oh, it's Reddit. Oh, okay. The end of the story.
Yeah, that was about it. I was like, okay. It's never really interested me.
Yeah, it's fine. It also doesn't interest me. Although, I have an account for 10 years. I have 30 karma. Just I don't use it that much.
Wow, so bad karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate Reddit.
Especially because I go on a bunch of I go a lot in history things in Reddit, and apparently people who access history subreddits don't like history. So whenever you talk about history, they just downvote you. It's a weird place.
How dare you talk about history in the history subreddit?
Right.
This is a place for memes. Anyways, this isn't about Reddit, is it?
Yeah, we're only reviewing 4 shows, and 2 of which I was watching. I just haven't finished them yet. So I'm curious to what you have to say, Tori, if it's worth finishing. How about that?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
So I assume that means I'm going to start then. Man, all I do is talk. All right. So yeah,
you have 3 shows. I have 1. JD has none.
Questions.
So yeah,
I have 0.
You better start.
Again, I was gonna backtrack to Fire Force, but that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Huh? Look at this guy. Fucking, that's an anime podcast and doesn't even watch it. Oh man. All right. Yeah. So the first show of the 3, because I'm the only one who has 3 shows, that I'm going to be talking about is a show called Runway de Warate, or Smile Down the Runway, as it's called in English. I talked about this on the early on in the season as well, before the season. Well, not before the season, but first impression stuff, because it was one of those shows that caught my attention. Because at first I didn't really care. It didn't seem like something I would care about, because it's about a fashion model and a guy who wants to become a fashion designer, right? And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's not my thing. And then I look at it again and I see the tags and it says shonen, and I'm like, wait, hold on, what? Shonen? Well, it's not shoujo. It's like, all right, I guess I gotta check it out. It was only 12 episodes and produced by Studio Esola, who I don't think they've done. Yeah, they did Sonan Deska, a short a while ago, and Happy Sugar Life. So basically, they have only done hits. So yeah, this is their 3rd show. The synopsis from Mal is: being the daughter of a modeling agency owner, Chiyuki Fujito aspires to represent her father's agency in the prestigious Paris Fashion Week, shining under the spotlight as a runway model. However, although she is equipped with great looks and talent, she unfortunately lacks a key element in becoming a successful model: height. Stuck at 158 centimeters, even after entering high school, her childhood dream seems out of reach. Meanwhile, Ikuto Tsumura, a high school student with a knack in designing clothes, however, without the resources to pursue the necessary education, his ambition of becoming a fashion designer remains a mere dream. But as fate brings Chiyuki and Ikuto together, the dim hopes within their hearts are ignited once again. Together, the 2 promise to rebel against convention and carve out their own paths in the fashion world. So yeah, basically, it's kind of like your typical shonen, and even similar to shonen sports series, And that, you have somebody who's like, take Haikyuu, for example, right? You have Hinata from Haikyuu, right? He can't play, or people say he can't play volleyball because he's too short, but he overcomes that. It's the same thing here, right? It's about somebody who was technically not fit for one reason or another, right? Chiyuki, she was always, like, ever since she was a little kid, she was always just destined for being a model. Like, she always had good looks, she was always taller than everyone her age, like, that was just a banker. She was going to become a model. She was going to become a supermodel. It's going to happen. And then she stopped growing. And then she was fired, and eventually she manages to reclaim her job at her father's. But it's basically just about never giving up, and the same thing for Ikuto. Ikuto has a lot of family issues, not in the sense that, like, they're poor, and they're a family of, like, 5, mother, him, and 3 sisters. Yeah, they're a family of 5, and the mother is a single parent trying to support them all, which has caused her to overwork herself, and she is now in the hospital. So, basically, stuff is not going very good. So, he has kind of decided to give up on his own future, and just seek employment so that he can help make money for his family, but they convince him to actually give it a try, and because he is very talented. But, of course, as always things go, he also gets a lot of harsh lessons, learning that, it's not just, you're not just going to coast on talent alone. You're not going to become a designer just because you have a talent for it. It's still a lot of hard work, and a lot of luck is still involved, and you need to actually convince people that you're worth it, and yada yada, and it all just leads up to this nice little tournament arc at the end, which is like this college has like a design division, and they have their own like little like fashion week kind of fashion competition thing, like where they have the whole like stage and whatnot, and the designer students progress to the finals get to like show off and whatnot, and it all builds up to that, and it's all nice. It all like comes together, both the story of Chiyuki trying to convince everybody that she is actually model material, as well as Ikuto trying to convince people that he is actually has the skill to become a designer, and it all just kind of culminates in that. And it's a short show, very, very similar to Shonen Sports series in the way the story plays out. It's definitely, for me, it's the surprise set of the season for me. This was not on my radar at all. I never thought I would have liked this, but coming out of it, that's a pretty good show.
Currently on Mal, it's sitting at it's way down there, first of all. Just on like in terms of how many people are watching it, it's not a top 10 show.
Nope. Well, of course not.
No.
They went over, but I mean, right, it's a shonen, but it's about modeling, right? It's not necessarily what you would expect people to be into, but again, it's like, I definitely think it's worth it, even if it's not your favorite subject. It's still a fun show to watch, right? Again, just applying the shonen sports.
The Welcome to Ballroom vibes.
Yeah, 7.78.
Yeah.
7.78. Yeah.
Rating.
I mean, it's not like a exact parallel, but it has a lot of that, right? It's like, it's the same with ballroom and the Yokoso. You're like, it's about ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's probably some. And you look at the look of it, it's a shoujo thing. And it's like, no, it's a shonen, almost battle shonen thing. And it's like,
yeah, basically, right?
What?
I would say, though, the difference between these is I feel like Ballroom, Welcome to the Ballroom kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit for me. Like, I got bored of it after, like, the first half.
Yeah.
And, but this one, since this one's just 12 episodes, it never really gets to that point. Like, it all builds up to that final, like, to that, like, little, peak at the end there, and it delivers on that, and that you leave feeling totally satisfied. It's not like the story's done or anything, it's not a conclusion, but you know what? That was a good ride. If they do make a second season, I'd probably check it out. I enjoyed it. But I'm fine where they left off for now. Like, it's a short and good show. And in a otherwise pretty poor season, this one definitely stood out.
Well, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Mm.
What's next on the review docket?
Am I just going to do all my 3 and then Hickey does his?
I guess, yeah, we could just do that.
Okay, then. Well, then I guess we're going on to the...
Or you could do 2, and then Hickey could do his, and then you finish it out, so you get a little break there, Tori. How's that sound?
that sounds good. Then I'll talk about Dorohedoro, and then he can talk about his.
Okay.
So,
Dor.
Dorohedoro, yes. Dorohedoro is another 12 episode, because apparently it was the king of the season of 12 episode series. It's another 12 episode series, done by Mappa, and it was directed by Yuichiro Hayashi. So, yeah, the synopsis says, Whole, a dark, decrepit, and disorderly district where the strong prey on the weak, and death is an ordinary occurrence, is all but befitting of the name given to it. A realm separated from law and ethics, it is a testing ground to the magic users who dominate it. As a race occupying the highest rungs of their society, the magic users think of the denizens of Whole as no more than insects. Murdered, mutilated, and made experiments without a second thought, the powerless Whole dwellers litter the halls of Whole's hospitals on a daily basis. Possessing free access to and from the cesspool, and with little challenge to their authority, the magic users appear indomitable, to most, aside for a few. Kaiman, more reptile than man, is one such individual. He hunts them on a heedless quest for answers with only a trusted pair of bayonets and his immunity to magic.
I hate this summary.
Cursed by his appearance and tormented by nightmares, magic users are his only clue to restoring his life to normal, with the biggest obstacle being his stomach. His stomach. Yeah, they're definitely trying to oversell this one. Jesus. Basically, Whole. It's a place where people can't use magic. And you have another place where wizards live and they can use magic. And they go to Whole and they use to make experiments. Kaiman,
right, Harry Potter's world with a dark side.
Mm-hmm. Kaiman is one of those experiments. He has been turned into a lizard. And he has this dude stuck in his throat. This head of a dude stuck in his throat. So he keeps trying to eat people to have the head say, or he keeps like biting over people's heads and have them talk to the head inside of him. And then it's like, what did they say to you? And they always come back with he said, you're not the one. And it's like, okay, fuck you, die. So he tries to kill him. Right? Because he's in
our impressions, we left off with more mystery. We know that this group wants to basically get rid of him because he has this anti-magic power.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And anytime they have like any evidence to possibly who this dude is in his mouth, a shadow figure wreaks havoc to kind of protect its identity, which is a pretty cool concept. Its underlying comedy was doing it for me.
Mm-hmm.
How does the rest of the anime go from there?
It basically keeps going a lot in the same vein, right? It follows that through the entire way. It's still him just trying to figure out who he actually is.
I can't imagine after 12 episodes they...
No, it's not finished.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, this is the prologue, if I'm not mistaken, from the manga.
And, interesting.
Yeah. So, essentially, like they do get far in the search. They have a clue on who it is. They just need to find the person, which is a little bit of a problem because he's dead.
It's almost like a confirmation.
Yeah, but he has been revived and he is now kind of roaming the wizard's world free. Nobody knows where he is right now. Everybody, because the only thing that he can go on is, Kaiman has the crosses across his eyes. And it turns out that there's a shady, kind of, gangster, like Yakuza-ish type of group.
Right.
They like that, and they sell this, like, black powder, aka drugs, to people. And, he's trying to locate them to maybe try to figure out, but nothing's really happening. Meanwhile, you have Kaiman's accomplice, Nikaido, who is trying to help him, which, turns out that she's actually a wizard herself.
Right.
who has escaped the hole, and you get the logical conclusion to that. You find, well, not the conclusion, but like you figure out more about who she is, why she escaped, and she also then starts tying into the main who pretty much takes on the face of the main antagonist in this one, which is N, which is the big bad guy who turns everything into mushrooms.
Right.
Right. So there's a connection between those. And that's probably the funniest thing about this, because you have Kaiman and Nikaido, which is like their own group.
Yes,
right?
it's their little tandem. Yep.
Yeah, right? But on the other side, on the Wizards world, you spend a lot of time also with N and Noi and Shin and everything. Like, basically, N is the, and Fujita. N is the leader of this, like, he basically rose to power, showing everybody he's such a great wizard, so he rose to power now and he is controlling everything. And under him, he has Shin and Noi, who are the executioners, his executioners.
They were a good comedy duo.
They are. And they're also badass, because goddamn, do they murder the shit out of people.
Do we get more awesome fight scenes with those guys?
Yes, you do. You also get a fight scene later on where they are getting absolutely destroyed, because there are also wizards who are even stronger than them.
Oh, good. Okay, so there's a clear totem pole on strength and something to work towards.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
It's not just that they're stronger, right? It's like the problem with them is that they are like the worst kind of people for them to fight, because Noe, like, she has healing power, but there is this guy, right, who is really interested in her, and he wants to catch her and basically do whatever the fuck he wants to do with her.
Of course.
How does he do that? He only has to kill her. Well, she can heal. How can you even damage her? Easy. His ability is literally just explosions. So he fucking just annihilates her when they meet. And Shin has the same thing. He has another guy's interested in him, and his thing is like he uses like poison and darts and like drugs and shit like that to put him to sleep or whatnot. It's like they're just the worst fucking combination, and it's so fun watching them together. It sadly ends really quickly, but it's even.
Oh, that's okay, because I watched. I'll just. In Fire Force, I got to the part where they're going into the subway system,
Yep.
and they're about to have their big one-on-one battles, and I saw the one with Gorilla Girl. Forget her name off the top of my head.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And she has her newly designed arms that she can hook her fire friends up to. And I was highly anticipating what she's going to do in the battle, what all these people are going to do in their battles, because there was people got either weapons or they kind of powered up a little bit with a short little training session, effective. And when I got that battle, it was very short, but incredibly satisfying, because they established that this dude she's fighting may not be as strong as, say, some other top guys, because of events that happened prior. So I'm like, okay, she's either gonna struggle at first a little bit or kick the shit out of him, and she just beat his ass so fast. It was very satisfying. A very good fight. So where I'm going with that is in Dorohedoro, you make it sound like the fights are mixing in the comedy and the characters with satisfying action.
Yes, essentially. Like,
oh, good.
The fight.
I will
say though, if the difference between that is that fights in Dorohedoro ends pretty fast. Right? They're not.
That's
they don't
fine,
last.
as long as it's satisfying.
Yeah, they don't last. It's generally just like some big push, like whether it's a punch or it's some sort of magic or whatever. Then it's just bang. If you're hit by that, you're generally done. Right?
That's okay. That's very realistic.
It is, and it makes sense, right? But it's all just like it all plays into like what their build is, like, because take N, right, for example. N is really strong,
right?
But it's very rare for him to like do anything that like murder somebody, because technically his ability is just he makes mushrooms grow, which doesn't really sound that interesting until you realize the fact that power has a lot of potential, and he can use it in a lot of interesting ways, like how he, for example, ends up discovering people, like how he could just randomly find you because you're sitting there, you don't know if you've been hit by his magic before. basically you are always susceptible to his magic, so you're like, I wonder where this person is, and they're just sitting there fucking enjoying their own deal, and all of a sudden a giant mushroom just grows on your back and rips loose from you and is ready to fight you. It's like, Jesus, what happened? And because he has activated that mushroom power, because of his senses, he now knows where you are. He's really scary like that. You're never free.
It kind of reminds me of the One Piece situation. You have this very odd ability that makes no fucking sense, and then they make sense out of it, and they get real creative with it. So that's I can't wait to get back to Dorohedoro.
Dorohedoro, basically, it's basically what you remember. Like it just keeps going like that, but it's just good all the way through, in my opinion.
Well, it sounds like a lot of the burning questions, they don't outright give you the solution, but they're giving you the path to the solution in a satisfying way.
Like I said, it's not. Obviously,
that's
it's
kind
not
of the
done
point
yet.
if the show doesn't end.
Yeah, obviously, again, it's not done yet, so there's still a lot of like questions, a lot of unanswered stuff, a lot of stuff that isn't like, that it's going to keep going. But like I said, this is the prologue, from what I understand from the manga, right? So hopefully there will be more. They sadly didn't confirm any second season at the end. They did have Kaiman do that little speech that he does at the end of every episode still, where he basically just confirms with everybody that this is not the end and yada yada yada. But there was no season 2 confirmation. So
did the CG throw you off at all?
It did at first. It definitely did at first.
Yeah, it was a little jarring at first, but I quickly got used to it.
Yeah, again, I've been over this a lot of times. I don't particularly like Mappa CG. I think they're generally pretty poor at it. I will say, though, the CG in this one, I understand why they decided to go for it. Because there are some weird-ass designs for a lot of these characters, and it's just...
Yes.
There's so many tiny details. So it's like... the more I watched it, the more I realized, like, yeah, this would be a pain to animate if they were gonna, like, animate this on 2D. That would be fucking horrible. And I mean, like, the mangaka who made this, like, she was a fucking assistant to, like, Tsutomu Nie as well, so, she should be good at drawing. So yeah, no, it's just, I understand why they decided to go with CG. It's gonna be a little bit jarring, especially at first, but if you get past it, it's like, you get used to it, and it's not overly bad. It's still a little jittery and kind of, like, not smooth, but, I don't know. I was fine with it. The show is good enough for me to not be, like, too put off by the CG.
Yeah, not a top 10 show on Mal. It has an 8.22 rating, though. So the people that are watching it rate it highly. So that's good to see. One of the higher rated shows of the entire season.
Yep.
All right. Hickey.
Yes.
Please inform us and give us the most detailed
review.
Mature review of possibly the best show of the last decade.
That is like 1 year. Well, like
no, it's
not
4
even
months.
1 year, 4 months. Yeah. I'll be very quick. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of things I watched that was worth talking about at the ending. Last season, the only two were 22/7, but the ending was very weird. I'm still thinking about what I feel about that ending. And the second one was Ishizoku Reviewers or Interspecies Reviewers.
Yes.
So I'll be
a show with
all
quick.
the plot. Yeah, I'll be quick. There's honestly nothing much to talk about it. It is excellent. There's
so much to talk about.
It is excellent.
What was your favorite cafe?
I mean, the favorite cafe, right?
Cafe.
I mean,
cafe, yes.
Cough.
The Goblin episode was really nice.
The Goblin?
The Golem.
Oh, Golem?
Golem, yes. The Golem episode was really nice. The Demon episode was really nice, which was, I think, the last one. So yeah, it's honestly, there's nothing much to talk about it. Just a bunch of guys going to...
What girl would you see yourself revisiting for her amazing cooking skills? Let's call it that way.
Which one?
Yeah.
I mean,
Which one got your best review?
the harpies were nice. Let me see. No, I mean that's gonna take a while because I don't think they visited in the show. of the ones I like, I usually really like on the Monster Girl Encyclopedia. I usually like the dragon types. You also have the Yogg-Sothoth.
You don't think those scales will come across on your skin too rough? No. The dragon scales aren't they more rough than, say, a regular reptilian's smooth scales?
Well, JD, sometimes
You didn't think about that, did you?
Well, there's a saying here which goes around every rose has its thorns. So you need to get used to it.
I don't want to get stabbed by a rose. I don't grab it with my full hand.
JD, but you clearly missed the point, but that's okay. It's okay, Uncle. We still like you, even though you still make these dad jokes. We still like you. Don't worry about it. You also have all the passwords for the podcast thing, so I'm obligated to say I like you. Yeah, it was a fun show.
Passwords?
Oh shit!
And before the fucking password for the podcast side is 1, 2, 3, 4.
No. You've got me.
Don't say it out loud.
Well, it was a fun show. Basically, a bunch of dudes going around reviewing prostitutes. Monster Girl prostitutes, then start being paid by it. To do that, by the end of the season, they had sponsors, so everything was free. They should just go there, fuck them, and make reviews. It was such a blast. It is fun. Just straight up fun and fun and fun. Even if you don't like the heavy, itchy aspect of it, it is still extremely fun. Like, they went in a drunk spree, like, just drunk, like, start drinking, went to the leprechaun bar, drank a lot, don't remember anything, spent all the money, and we're like, well, shit, we spent all our money, fucking gross, but we can remember, so we need to make that money back. They actually saved the world just trying to get money to fuck more monster girls. It's like, and the show just gloss around it. It's just like, yeah, they lost all the money. There's a narrator. The narrator comes in. It's like, yeah, they lost all the money. They fight. Actually, they saved the world while trying to get money to fuck monster girls. But that's a story for another time. I'm like, oh, don't. That should be the story of this thing. I think the creator
no.
kind of missed the point. But yeah.
Hell no, that's not the story. Fucking no, man.
It was very fun.
This is a show made for us hentai aficionados.
It was very fun. I think the most important thing is they covered one of the arcs of the original story, the manga, which is the perfect 10 establishment. It's the only establishment that everyone gives a 10. Everyone who they talk to gives a 10. They go there and it gives a 10. But basically there's this witch which uses her clones to give you a perfect life for 3 days. So you can do whatever you want for 3 days. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Even
her describing the shit that people do.
Yeah. It's like this membrane. And I like she makes breakfast for Stunk and he's eating and he's like, you want to eat? And she's like, no, I don't need to eat. I'm a clone. I'm just an illusion, basically. But if you want to, I can make it come out with from my poop with a what is then the thing with a bitter taste. And it's like, no, I don't want that. Who wants that? And she's like, well, many people like that. Like, okay. So yeah, but in that arc, you discover that the witch is actually another thing. I almost gave a spoiler, but she gets the angel guy sperm, and she can do like special things with it. They kind of glossed over it. I believe it becomes more important later in the story, but that's fine. It's extremely fun. Extremely fun. I was having a ball every single time, every single episode. Never skipped an opening because it's a IMCA cover, like parody. By the end of the anime, I think that's a good spoiler. The virgin lizard guy, he completed 30 years old with being a virgin and became an actual wizard. He evolved in class. It was such a good ending for that show. Definitely watch it. It is special. Actually, very good animated. I don't know why they spend so much time animating sex scenes, but that's fine. It's extremely...
Somebody has to.
It is very consistent with the music, with the animation, with the voice acting. The voice actors had fun. You can feel they had fun doing that. So yeah, it's definitely, in the technical point of view, it's a very good anime. In the fun point of view, it's also very good. So watch it. Even though you might not like heavy ecchi, I think it's worth tolerating it to watch this one.
So I could be wrong on this stat line, but I remember when we first did our impressions, Interspecies Reviewers was just taking off Funimation for Too Much Plot.
Yep.
And it was the sixth most popular show.
It was the second most popular show in the history in my anime list.
Yep.
No. At the time, it was number 6 on the season.
Okay.
And now, it not only doubled its viewership of how many people are watching it, the traction on the show had to at least tripled.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Now it's the number 1 show of the season.
It's
fun. Over Haikyuu.
It's fun. It's actually a very well made story. Even the reviews, where you go, in the manga, the reviews they just put in a page of the manga the review, and you can read it. It's like a huge text. JD knows it because he read the manga. It's just that
we did. Yeah. We when we were doing our manga checkout.
Yeah, it's just that huge wall of text. In the anime, however, they give different animations to the reviews. Like you have them sitting down, writing in the dark with the feather. On. Yeah, with a feather. There's one of them playing bowling. It's a very fun anime. It's a very fun anime. It's really well made. I don't know why they spend so many time and so many resources making this anime look like one of the best shows in a long time. Very consistent animation, very consistent everything. Just to make dirty jokes about prostitution. Japan is a weird place.
It's Studio Passion.
And Studio Passion is
the Roka no Yusha studio.
That makes
High
sense.
School DxD.
Studio Passion is a weird studio because they are highly inconsistent, but they are a weird place. There's no way to know what is going on inside of Passion. They do.
They're good when it matters.
Well, their shows are so weird, and they don't do a lot of them. I mean, they did Citrus. That was their last big one.
Yes, but they did the last season of High School DxD with the boy thing,
which was very bad.
They did Roka no Yusha, which is was a fun show until
immensely popular.
It was a fun show, but the ending fucked it. But there's no way. There's not a consistent subject when it comes to shows. They're just that studio. Someone says, "Hi, I have an idea." Okay, we need the money. Give us and we'll do it. And I'm glad they did a good job with Ishizuku Reviewers.
All right.
I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10, by the way. It's amazing.
Whoa. You know what, Tori? You agree that sounds like a fair score?
No, I think I give it an 8.
I think it 5 for each titty. So that makes 10.
Well, some of them have more than 2 tits, so...
Oh, so 15.
Yeah, or more. It depends. It depends on the monster girl.
All right, last show, Tori, and I'm very curious to this one because I started watching this much like Dorohedoro, and then things got as I hit my mic, things just got in the way, and I was quite hyped. I had a good connection with the show, but did it maintain its pace and interest, or did it fall off? What is this show, Tori?
This show is, once again, it's a 12-episode TV series produced by Studio Science Saru, and it's based on a manga. And it's directed by the one and only Masaki Yuasa.
I think I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, no one has heard of this guy. It's the other guy.
Probably never made anything worthwhile.
No, like what, Ping Pong the Animation, Mind Game.
Yeah, never heard of
Tommy Galaxy. I don't know. Nothing anybody's ever heard of.
No. Definitely not critically acclaimed in any way either.
Nope, not generally celebrated. Anyways, synopsis goes: Midori Asuka.
What is the name of the show?
The world. Whoa. Eizoken niwate wo dasuna. Keep your hands off Eizoken.
Eizoken, we'll just call it that.
Yes. Midori Asuka sees the world a bit differently. Always having her nose in a sketchbook, Asuka draws detailed landscapes and backgrounds of both the world around her and the one within her boundless imagination. Even the simple act of doodling on a wall evolves into an emergency repair on the outer hull of her spaceship. She is only brought back to reality by her best friend Sayaka Kanamori. The pair are stark opposites, with Asuka's childlike wonder contrasted by Kanamori's calculated approach to life and money.
And money.
A lot of money.
Very important.
A lot of money. After a chance encounter where the two save the young model Tsubame Misosaki from her overprotective bodyguard, a connection instantly sparks between Asuka and Misosaki. Okay, again, this overselling everything. Whatever. Basically, It's a bunch of people.
Yeah, Sayaka, Midori, and Tsubame.
Yes, they all want to start this club because they all have an interest in animation, except for Kanamori because she likes money. So basically, she's the worst person to get involved in anime.
Well, what was it, like the second episode, she's running through a lot of the logistics, and it's just like, it's too expensive. That's also too expensive. Yeah. We can't afford that. I mean, it's bullshit.
Yeah. She definitely encompasses a lot of the higher-ups in the anime industry in that regard. Yeah, so I understand her.
I love when they find a windmill and the model grows like, oh, people got paid for do this kind of work, and the girl just comes like, we're not getting paid. Kanamori is like, oh damn, that was I think that was a jab, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh no, the characters in this show are just absolutely fantastic. They play off of each other so well. Both Midori and Tsubame, they are or Misaki and Asakusa, if you will, because that's the name they go by. Just they always use their last name. Like they're both Asakusa. They are both voiced by rookie voice actresses, whereas Kanamori is voiced by Mutsumi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who has done a lot. Generally plays, male characters, but it's fine. So I like the I like the contrast between them, and they really make the comedy of this show. Like, the comedy is always centered around like they're like very different personalities and how they view the world. And basically, right, this is a fan letter, just like manga. This is a fan letter to animation. It's just about the love for animation, right? It's the best way for somebody like me to watch, see animation described. And I think it's good. I think that works for a lot of people. I mean, that's a pretty high rating, so I would assume it works for a lot of people. Because it's like
8.3.
Yeah, right? Because essentially, it all works out where you'll start with maybe some background sketches, just and you maybe some basic Genga, which is basically just like the key poses and whatnot, like basic frames for what the animation is going to be, right? And it all starts out with them making stuff like that, and then it all just evolves into this Chunibyo world of just imagination where everything starts moving, and you see how they all, as they explain their ideas, you see how it all plays out, and it's just, it's so great. They did such a good job explaining that. as well as, referencing a bunch of other shows, like, in their first episode, like, they talk about, especially first episode focuses a lot on, like, a show we have reviewed on this podcast, Future Boy Conan, and, like, they recreated a lot of scenes from that show, just, like, showed them as well. They just sit there in a fucking theater geeking out over the fucking animation, and I was like, oh, this helps create that effect, and I'm just sitting there watching them. I love this. This is me.
Yeah,
I do that.
I like also the Asaku's kind of reaction to it. It's not Tori's. I don't think Tori would relay that much because he didn't watch anime when he was a kid.
No,
but like I remember,
I did some, but not
only like the Future Boy Conan, because Future Boy Conan is really good. But Kanamori is just like being hypnotized by it. And I remember like when I was a kid and then I watched Japanese animation, I was like, this is different. This is special. Like there's something very special about this. And that's basically how I started just watching a lot of it. It's understanding that there was something special about it. Something special about the animation and something special about whoever animated that. Seeing, little Asakusa going through the same process was like, oh, man. Those were simpler times when I didn't need to work to sustain myself.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. No, and it's just, I love how it all just evolves, right? Because it all evolves into them. They want to make anime, right? But in order to do so, well, two of them wants to make anime. One wants to make, Kanamori wants to make money.
I mean, so, she was the one who made the bad choice, I guess.
Yeah. But like, so they want to join, like, they want to make like an anime group at school, like an anime club, but they can't because there already is an anime club, but that's Anime Research Club, which is for nerds. They want to make anime, not study it.
Right.
So they end up creating the like film, what's it called? The Motion Pictures Club. That's the one. Mm-hmm. And they end up creating that club, and through that they managed to get to making like different anime like promotional stuff, kind of for like the Robot Club, and even for their entire town, which the town that they live in also is just completely made up. And it's literally just, I love it because the town they live in is literally just made up to be like an interesting set piece for anime. Not for it all being like a realistic setup for a city or town. And I love how they point that out at multiple times. It's just like, this is not a very good layout for a town. Like, this is not how you would make this. But it's like, as a fucking set piece for an anime, it's great.
Like they explain, no, like we should, even the school is like this little project of the town they live in. It's like, oh yeah, when the school was built, we could see the clock tower. But then they built so many things in front of it that we can only listen to it now.
Yeah, so like have to watch the clock tower from like across the lake, which is like way far away.
You have like flooded parts of the city, and they're like, oh, this is not a river. This was a highway, and you look like, oh shit, that's true. It should be like a highway in the park, but everything is flooded for some reason. They never explained why. It's just like, well, it's they never played the city, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's just this show's just creative. It just oozes creativity, and I love it. Again, like I said, I love the characters. They are extremely good. Watching Kanamori just negotiate her way through everything, fucking whether it's with the school or it's with the clubs or it's with anything. It's just funny seeing her, like, everybody trying to use fucking typical like school speak, or like, you can't do this for this and that reason, and then just seeing her fucking shoot everyone down using just normal logic. And just she's like the best kind of person, Kanamori is, because she's just like, she always has this like mean fucking look on her face, and she just looks so annoyed at everything. It's so funny just seeing her, like, they're getting called in, like, the school wants to have a talk to them because of, like, there's rumors that they're trying to make money off of this, and they're being scolded, and Kanamori's just literally just sitting back, laying back over a chair, looking at the fucking roof, looking like he's not at all interested, and then every time it's like, what do you have to say? That she just fucking shoots back with something. It's just like fucking complete logic, and the teachers are just there like, Shit, she got us. Wait, hold on. Let me try to rectify this situation. And I just keep feeling, I love everything about this show. It's so fucking good.
Her backstory was also very fine.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
It's like how she blames. She has like this blameful tone towards the OG-chan, but it's actually like kind of her regret that she couldn't do better to help, the store stay open. It was really, really nice.
Yep. Yeah, and you've got that for all. Like, obviously, with Asuka, you know her already, like, getting into anime from a young age, having just boundless imagination. Same thing you have with Misaki, who wants to become an animator, but she is currently a model, and, her parents want her to become a model and whatnot. She's kind of trying to avoid her parents or finding out, but they do find out, and they basically just accept after seeing what she can do, like one of their presentations and whatnot, and it's just, they're impressed, and it's like, you realize a lot because you see her, like, when she grew up, like, her being, like, really interested in motion and but not for the same reason. Like, she liked dance, but not dancing itself. She liked the motions of dance. She would study it and, like, draw it. And, like, she would use a lot of those tips and whatnot. And it's just really well made, like, in pretty much every regard. I almost can't praise the show enough. It's a little bit slow, maybe, at times. And it can feel like it starts dragging a little bit if you're not, like, super into the whole, like, if you're not super into animation, but
it's a super creative show.
Yeah, it is. They made a
it
fucking
really
show.
sets it apart. It really sets it apart from anything else you'll watch. And that's kind of that's kind of why I was heavily interested in it in the first place.
Yeah. They make a fucking short where it's like a fucking high school girl / samurai ninja, whatever the fuck she is, fights a goddamn tank.
Yeah,
that's
a
so
straight
stupid.
up a fucking that's straight up Trigger material right there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love
also,
that
like,
show.
why is she fighting in the planet? And why not? It's like doesn't matter. It's like someone watching Space Luluko. I see.
Yeah. There's so many different references to that as well. I love it as well because for the final project, it's like Asuka has a new fucking problem because she's no longer allowed to just do that whole thing where it's like when she comes up with a setup for the story, she usually kind of just goes, whatever, it makes sense. Or it doesn't have to make sense. But for the end, like, she's now the director of the project, and Kanamori just refuses to allow her to keep doing that, where it's like, you can't just, like, keep saying, like, whatever, you need to come up with reasons. This is supposed to be, like, a good, engaging story. You can't just have stuff happen for no reason. There needs to be a reason for why this is happening. Nobody's going to be interested in, like, aliens are fighting. Well, why? Well, because they're fighting. Yeah, but there needs to be a reason. I love that because Asuka is very, very creative, but she's also very, like, she understands how stuff works for herself, but she can't really explain stuff. She's really bad at explaining stuff. She doesn't really like talking to other people. And, right. But at the same time, she's also, like, whenever it comes to, like, thinking of the more difficult stuff, like, why something's happening, right? Because to her, she has her imagination. Everything makes sense in her mind, right? Even if there isn't any reason for why this should happen. It's like, it's just, because I think this, that's why it should happen. But obviously, writing a story, that's not good enough. So she's now forced trying to come up with, like, settings and, like, reasons for everything. It's like, hold on, I'm gonna go exploring. It's like fucking trying to just get away all the time, fucking postponing, doing that thing that always happens in fucking anime production, where it always seems like everything gets delayed because somebody can't make up their fucking mind or something. It's great. I love this show. I ended up giving it like an 8 out of 10 because it did, again, I felt like it started dragging a little bit. So that pulls it down a little bit for me, but it's still such a fucking good show. I love it.
Well, it sounds like I should finish the fucking thing then.
Yes, you fucking should.
You should.
Absolutely.
You should. Guess just nitpicking, don't like the music, but that's a personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's time we got to talk about this other show then. Whew, boy.
getting right now.
We talked about it at
right.
the beginning, JD.
Yeah, you know. Oh, oops! I didn't on the agenda. I forgot to change the name itself.
Yeah, I saw that.
Review. I mean, we could review City Hunter again. That would be more fun.
It was City Hunter review number 2.
Yeah. No, we're reviewing El Hazard.
movie.
Yeah, El Hazard the Wanderers from Studio AIC, studio that also brought us Tenchi Muyo, Blue Gender, Now and Then Here and There. Better shows, one might say. Director is Katsuhito Akiyama. Brought us Beyblade and Bubblegum Crisis of fame, a show we have covered in the past. So welcome back, Akiyama. Released in fall 1995, show spans 26 episodes, plus an alternative setting with sequels. Ooh. So if you couldn't get enough of El Hazard. Summary from Anime Planet. Jinai has sabotaged Makoto's science project, and while he is working on it, it malfunctions and sends the two of them, as well as Jinai's sister, Nanami, and Mr. Fujisawa, the school's history teacher, into an alternate dimension. So yes, this is an isekai. After arriving in this new world, each character finds his or her own adventure about to begin, from taking on an empire of evil bugs to rescuing a princess of Rushtaria. Very loose plot, but it failed to mention that every episode will be Makoto and the teacher, maybe a companion of some kind, will join them to go to place. Jinai will be Team Rocket with the bug people and come up with a plot of evil, let's call it, and he will be thwarted. Every episode will be like that.
Kinda.
Pretty much.
Literally, yeah, that's basically what I described it to Hickey when Hickey was like, I don't remember what happened. And I'm like, well, basically, all you need to know is that Makoto and Jinai are going to argue at some point, that Jinai is going to lose. That's basically every episode.
Well, Jinai loses and he blasts off again.
Yeah.
Like, every time.
Yeah, but what about all the other things? There is nothing else. That's literally the plot. That's all. Everything else is generally just them sitting talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Like, the dialogue itself was just whatever the just minuscule conflict of the episode was, right?
The most interesting part of the story for me, easily, was the backstory of the princess and the what did it
The
call?
priestess.
Shrine maidens?
The priestess.
priestesses.
Yeah. Shayla and the names.
Yeah, that was literally the most interesting piece of story in the entire thing. Other than that, I don't care.
No, you got very little to kind
of
sink your teeth into.
Hmm.
So I knew nothing about El Hazard going into this. I've just heard about it, and people have a lot of nostalgia with the show. It's a mid to late 90s show. It has a very Slayers feel to it. Immediately, especially from the character art. And even the way the comedy is, like, I believe I was like 4 episodes in, I messaged you guys, is this just Slayers? And honestly, the more I watched it, I just found myself getting more and more kind of out of it and more disappointed because show was started out a little goofy. They're in the school. Makoto's kind of a tinkerer of sorts. He's smarter. The history teacher's a drunk, which is kind of funny in of itself. And then Nanami's kind of the childhood friend with her crazy brother, right? Who's gone insane from the student council. How he got that position, we don't know. I guess we're under the impression that he stuffed the ballot or something.
I think he became...
did.
Yeah, so, but he blames Makoto for some reason of all of his hardships, and then they get sent to this other world before them, and Makoto slowly starts to, Nanami's in love with him, the princess becomes in love with him, and there's the
priestess.
By their definition, it would be the cute, I have a crush on him thing, right? But we'll never admit it.
Yeah, by the end of the first season, the the priestess also like him, because you need to get like that tsundere type of thing. So you got her
right. Yeah, you can't have the two. You gotta have the harem thing going on. So yeah, it's a real bummer. There was the occasional episode. I'm like, all right, this was pretty good. Like, I kind of like the introduction to the three priestesses. There's a fire, wind, and water. I did get a sort of. At first, I got a kick out of Nanami. Kind of like they cut back to her and she's doing these part-time jobs because she hasn't met up with the guys yet while they're hanging out with a princess inside of a castle.
Oh my god, that got old so fast.
But everything in the show got old fast. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Instead of
I guess
progressing the show,
probably, yeah, I would say everything became really, really old very fast, except the bad guys. Because Jinai always found a way of, getting the introduction for his plan. Like, every time it would be different. Either him speaking or using a microphone or using just text. Just giant flying bugs with text. So it was always very interesting. Ifrita was always very funny, at least for me. Like, she trying to be competent but failing every single time.
She the ultimate weapon.
Yeah, she the ultimate. It's man. Now you're gonna die because I'm just a weapon. Just blast something, almost hit someone, starts a tornado, don't know how to stop. Like, every single time she did something, I found funny. So ever since she was introduced and was in an episode, I was having fun.
So with the second half,
yeah,
kinda.
Yeah, kind of.
Nah.
With her antics, not much the characters. Because, it is. Main character is not likable. And he has
main character is the fucking worst. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
He has
take all that time to explain that. Yeah. Takes fucking all this time to explain that shit about him being fucking good at science and all of that and being fucking good at apparently everything. Back in fucking real life, and then they go into this this different world, and now he's basically useless. And even whenever he's fucking asked to be called upon, he can't do anything. He's literally a waste of space. He's a liability at every fucking corner. When he goes to fucking rescue the princess, he just, I don't know, has a fucking heart attack because I'm so close, I can just cut her loose and we can be done with it. But he just stands there and he's like, just standing there looking at her, but like, a princess, and then she gets blown away and he falls forward, and then I don't fucking know, apparently the heart attack hit him there and he just passed out. Okay, great. Fantastic, good job. Great guy. Oh my god. Oh, I hate the show!
Super interesting, right?
Oh, I hate the show so much.
It was so fucking fun. Very fun. Very, very fun. I mean, I like a few jokes. The problem is it became very old very fast. Also, the music doesn't help that much.
Oh god. It's basically absent in my head. I remember nothing of the music. Not a good sign.
I remember the mid-roll music, and I hate that.
Yeah, it doesn't match. Well, it matched the show, but it doesn't match the scenario of the story. Well, the story itself doesn't match the scenario it was built in, but it's no, music wasn't that good. So
it's such a shame. It seemed like at first the show had a lot of potential. I thought there'd be something more with these characters. At least that's what my first impression of what they were building towards was going to happen. And then it just turned into this episodic nonsense with no goal in sight. Their supposed goal is to try to find a way home. So they go to the princess is like, nah, I don't have I can't help you. My scientists can't help you. So maybe the three priestesses can. And then they go on a journey that's one episode of going to them, and then they ultimately have no idea. And then after that, it's just, what?
Fighting Jinai again.
It's just
again,
fighting Jinai over and over again
and
into just
oh my god, like Jinai
random occurrences.
Let me fucking rant about Jinai for a second here, because fucking, you know when you have like an anime, right, and you have that like fucking villain type that you just do not like, right? You generally start to get a feel for him after a couple of episodes.
Oh, but Tori, you're not supposed to like him because he's a bad guy.
Shut up. That's not what I mean. I mean literally, Jinai has to be one of the worst villains I've ever seen, because quite frankly, at least for the most part, I don't tend to hate a character the moment I see him. But literally, for the moment Jinai opened his fucking screamy little mouth, I was like, this guy is the worst. And not even in the kind of, in like a bad guy kind of the worst, or like a shitty human being the worst, which he also is. He is just a delusional guy with a fucking god complex, and he's stupid. And the worst part is people fall for it. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, I
so
liked him.
dumb that people fucking... He's so dumb that he collectively fucking drops the IQ of everyone around him, apparently.
No, really, I honestly liked him as a villain. The problem is not so much what he was said to be, but kind of how he was built upon it. Because, like, it's the same... He's kind of the same as the teacher, Fujisawa. They are in another world, full of insects and magical beings, a speaking cat thing, stuff. But the
cat was so weird.
He's just like, every time he introduces himself or say anything, which is basically the definitive characteristic of Fujisawa, is that he's a history teacher. It's like, oh, I'm a history teacher in a high school. It's like, so what? You are in another world. That doesn't mean anything here. It's kind of the same thing as Jinai. And the worst thing is, he's way too crazy. He was way too crazy before. I think that really diminishes his character, because his tactics are very good. You know, he uses starvation tactics. He uses market manipulation. He has very good war tactics. But the problem is, he sees himself as this eternal high school, like, council president, and goes crazy on it. But in that world, it doesn't matter. Like,
well, there was even a line joke about that. Makoto is like, he's still calling himself that?
Yeah, but it's the same as the teacher. The teacher calls himself... There's even an episode where he's teaching our world history to the little woman. Reiliri. It's like... And she's like, what's the point of me learning your history if I'm not in your world? And that's the...
thing is, there's a lot of simple explanations they could just say. It's like, well, one learns from history no matter where it is.
Yeah,
right?
no, but like... What's
they don't do that. They're just learning.
But like, that's not the point I'm making. It's like, why keep calling yourself a teacher? Why stay as a teacher? Or why stay as a student council president where that doesn't matter? No one knows what a school is, right? No one knows. Well, at least one of the priestess know what is a public school is, but. Like,
I was about to say, except for those weird times where they absolutely know whatever the fuck they're talking about is, which makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, it's like...
right.
That diminishes the character, because they stay like that, they don't evolve, except Nanami. Nanami adapts very well to the world, until she finds, them. She goes get together with the main group, and then she reverts back and being a high school girl. What's the point of staying that way? Right, and that
there was no evolution. That takes
that takes a toll on Jinai a lot. Like the most affected to it is the Jinai, because he's the villain. He has very good tactics, but
they never change their clothes either.
No,
they always keep wearing their school shit. I'm like,
right, and it's like, why? Why would you do that? Diminishes his character a lot. And then everyone around him is also very incompetent. So since he went crazy and he still thinks he's just a high school council president thing, really, really gets out, takes out a lot of possibilities for him to grow as a character. Even the teacher grows as a character, or anyone grow as a character, because they are always attached to that main idea of being a high school kid or high school student. Doesn't get involved in the world. They are just a side entity. That's really bad.
You know what I thought they were going to do with this for some character development? Or at least some character attributes, that would be a better way to put it. Was when they first got there, and it's established that Mr. Fujisawa, the history teacher, has this unbridled strength in this new world, right? And then we get a later scene with Makoto. He's like at this globe thing. He touches it, and it starts glowing, like electricity's running through it, right? I was like, okay, so are each going to have this very unique power, and they're going to use that over time, and maybe Jinai has some crazy power, maybe Nanami will as well? No. Just Fujisawa, when he's sober, he's strong. And they make a joke out of it.
Yep. No,
I'm like,
oh my God,
why? Why drop the ball like that?
Because it doesn't matter. And then they fucking go, oh, Makoto has no ability. He has no power. Oh my god, I hate this show. I fucking...
It's a great example, and I noticed you, Tori, said this in the chat. It's a great example of a show wasting your time.
Yes.
It doesn't, and then Hickey, you said, yes, it doesn't respect your time. And I agree, that's a great way to put it.
It's like Angel Cop.
Well, come on.
But Angel Cop is so much shorter.
No, like when I say it's like when it left the same impression on me. This is unnecessary. It's an unnecessary production and unnecessary waste of money. It's the same thing I said in that cast. This is a waste. Yeah. This is unnecessary.
The difference between Angel Cop and this is a 26 episode show of wasting your time.
The thing is, this is a remaking of a 6 OVA show, which seems to be more serious, not so
and
goofy.
3 volumes, by the way.
Before the 26 episode series, there was an OVA series. Makoto was a simple guy. He wasn't a scientist doing crazy shit. The princess was like a already older woman, more mature. Right. You had characters that were cut off in the anime for some reason. They didn't appear. Because of that, they changed a lot of characters' whole appearances. A lot of characters got a complete new personality to them. Because of that, it feels even more unnecessary. Because they could have done the same thing as the older OVA, but for some reason they decided to go way more goofy in the TV series. Probably to, do something close to Slayers, as you said. That potentializes the unnecessary feeling I feel from this show.
Crazy. This show felt like a total waste of time, incredibly disappointing. Especially with all the nostalgia hype behind it. I thought it was going to be one of, not so much a hidden gem type show, just something that's been forgotten about over time, but it's with good reason. There's shows in the same art style that are better than it, shows that are funny, what was it called? Hold on, bear with me as I get I forgot the show's name. Oh no. So it reminded me a lot of Slayers. And Slayers I would say is better. Because there was actually a point to it. Kept me entertained. Cell Saga was funnier. That was the one I was thinking of. And it had the same rambunctious comedy, just they went over the top with it, so it kept you... They didn't ram the same joke down your throat over and over again with no evolution. So yeah, and almost every aspect of the show reminds me of another show that did it better, and that's not a good thing. There's no conclusion. There's no evolution of characters. There's no story. Even from an episodic perspective, it like nothing really stands out as, oh man, remember that episode this happened and then that played, the Cowboy Bebop feel. Nothing there. So yeah, this is a bad show. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go with JD. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. It's still very unnecessary, but it's at least consistent.
All right. No, yeah, I didn't even finish the show. The moment JD said I didn't have to, I was literally jumping. I was so happy.
You missed nothing in those last 3 episodes.
I didn't expect to do it either. I couldn't be bothered watching anymore. I genuinely despise this show. Like, when I watched this show, I thought I also went into it with no expectations. Like, I thought it was going to be at least okay. I've heard about LSR before. I've heard people talk about it.
Right.
But say good things about it. But it kind of hits me in the same vein as Slayers. Now, I could actually finish that first season of Slayers. And I didn't like
That's
Slayers.
A big difference in itself.
Yeah. I didn't like Slayers. I thought the comedy was very weak in that one as well. But at least it didn't make me want to fucking strangle somebody. But this show, it just... I basically, it's one of those shows that I could not just sit down and watch episodes of this show. I had to be doing something else at the same time and just let it play. Because if I was just sitting there or looking at this show, I would have gone absolutely fucking mental. It's not quite a 1, but I'm giving it a 2.
Ooh.
It's really, really garbage.
So we'll go with an aggregate score of 3. The fact
out of
that
5.
you mentioned, yeah, 3. No, 3 out of 10, basically. Yeah, this is not a recommendation by any means.
I recommend you to skip it and stay as far away from it as possible.
This is definitely a show to not go back and watch. If this is like one of your childhood memories, keep it that way. Kind of like me with the Ronin Warriors case. Like, that show's no good. That show's no bueno. It's all rose-colored glasses there. This definitely qualifies as one of those. Our next episode is Sailor Moon R.
Oof.
I guess you could call it Season 2 of Sailor Moon.
Oh boy.
We haven't covered Sailor Moon in since the start of the anime podcast, basically. Almost 3 years later.
If you haven't listened to that cast, go back and listen to it and enjoy. We'll keep the fun going, I assume.
We're in for a treat to see what bullshit is gonna happen in the sequel. I'm very excited. If you want to hit us up on the social medias, go hit up Tori on his YouTube channel, Anime Top Scholar. Just reached 400 subs. Congratulations, Tori.
Thank you.
You're getting to double what the Red Leaf Retrocast YouTube channel has. Needless to say, our YouTube channel is not our prime source of audio.
Weird.
Yeah, who would have thought, right? But we are all on the Twitters. Every handle is in the description of every episode. Go hit us up on iTunes, Stitcher, Podchaser for all reviews. Every little bit counts. And look forward to more episodes. This is one of my favorite things to do every weekend. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
See you.